Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I took people that were on that live session through the nature method, and I'll take you through it very, very quickly now. Oh, sorry, Marcus just said that I was able to ignore my children yelling. Yeah, me too, Marcus. So yeah, so I took people through the nature method a couple of weeks ago. Now there is a recording of that, and at the end I'm going to show you how you can access that recording. There was a whole hour spent on this method that I've come up with, which is nothing, first of all, there's nothing new in breathwork. Let's just put that on the table. But it's just a simple acronym to remember good breathing techniques. And we're going to focus on some of that nature method today. And so I've got a wonderful quote for you here. Now, again, if you've come across the Nesta book, you're just going to be in a treasure trove of beautiful things. And he wrote, in Japan, legend has it that the samurai would test a soldier's readiness by placing a feather beneath his nostrils while he inhaled and exhaled. And if the feather moved, the soldier would be dismissed. So this is way before we had capnographs and MRI machines and all that good stuff. And yet somehow us clever humans had figured out that the breath was important for something as essential as battle, And so again, there's nothing new in breath work. And today we're going to learn a little bit more about what's going on here. So with your permission, I'm going to take you through a little bit of science. I'm going to try not to get too bogged down in it. It is being recorded, this session, so you can go back and watch it again. And I've tried to make it as accessible as possible, but there will be a couple of bits where we go a little bit deep just because I need to kind of explain a couple of bits to you. But hopefully we'll come out the other end and we'll still be friends, and then we can do some breathing techniques together as well. So the nature method, for those that are new to this, it stands for nose, abdomen, throttle or pace or speed, the urge to breathe, rest, could look at that as sleep or relaxation, and exhale. Some people are saying there's an echo still on the line, but some people are saying don't hear it. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm going to turn my speaker down. Just give me a thumbs up if I'm coming through clear for people. Is that okay? Yeah, okay. Not sure, guys and girls, about what's going on there. Apologies. There's no echo here, so it seems like it's intermittent for some people. We'll keep going. Again, it will be recorded, so you can go back and watch this if any of it's too echoey. So that's the nature method. Today we're focusing on kind of three key areas. We're going to focus on the nose, the throttle, and the urge. They're the kind of main three that we're going to look at. So I love to come up with silly things that we can remember. I often find that when something is silly, we're more likely to remember it. And so if you take anything away from today, it's keep your blood fizzy. Okay? So keep your blood fizzy. What the hell is he going on about? It will make sense, I promise you, as we come through to the end. Let me explain. So some of this is going back to kind of childhood chemistry and biology lessons, but generally speaking, we're breathing in oxygen. We probably most of us know this, and we're breathing out carbon dioxide. So we're breathing in, breathing out. As we breathe in that oxygen, it goes through our system. It gets delivered all over the place. It's on the back of a red blood cell in something called a hemoglobin, and these oxygen molecules are jumping off where they're needed. And then the carbon dioxide is jumping back on the red blood cell on the hemoglobin, and it's coming back and we're breathing it out. So we're breathing in lovely fresh air, plenty more oxygen, and we breathe out a slightly higher amount of carbon dioxide. So that's the first bit. Again, probably nothing new to us here, but a good reminder. Now, I get to spend my time speaking to the most interesting people on the planet, and this is Dr. Dipti. She was on Nesta's website. She got interviewed. She might have even been in the book as well. I got to spend some time on a retreat with her and so many other people. And what you're looking at there is what's called a capnograph. And this was from my friend Tom Granger. Some of you may know him. And this capnograph, what it's doing is it goes under your nose and it measures the amount of carbon dioxide you're breathing out. It's really, really cool. Parts per million of CO2. It doesn't really matter too much, the numbers. But we did some tests. We did some tests live in one of the masterclasses I did last year. And so let me just share with you some of the stuff that happened here, because I find this freaking fascinating. So if you put one of these pulse oximeters on your finger and it's measuring your oxygen, we're generally between 96 and 99% full of oxygen pretty much all the time. Even my mother-in-law, who's had tuberculosis, she sits at around 94 and she's got some problems with her lungs. So we're generally full of oxygen all the time. There's not really much space there. And the CO2, mine was sitting around 39, and I think 35 to 45 milligrams of mercury pressure is normal. So but she said between 35 and I think 45. So I was in a decent range there. So that's just me normal breathing as I was sitting on camera doing that sort of stuff. Then I held my breath for a minute. My oxygen came down, but not as much as you would think. So I was still full of oxygen as I held my breath for that 60 seconds. but my carbon dioxide shot up. So that's the first thing to notice there. We're really efficient at dealing with oxygen. In fact, I'm sure you've heard me go on about this before if you've followed me. I've got a friend called Tom Zetas, who was the first human to hold his breath for 10 minutes on a single breath of air. No huffing of oxygen. He just went under the water, broke the Guinness World Record. He did 22 minutes huffing oxygen, but he did 10 minutes as a natural breath hold. So we're really freaking efficient at holding oxygen in our body. But what's going on here is when we hold our breath and we start to feel uncomfortable, what's going on is we've actually got a bit more carbon dioxide. Now, here's the interesting one for today. I hyperventilated for 30 seconds. Can anyone guess what's going to happen to the numbers when I hyperventilated? Feel free to pop it in the chat. So oxygen rises. Interesting, maybe, yeah. So I was I was back in this state again. I was in the normal breathing state. So I did the 60 seconds, went back to this kind of baseline. CO2 drops, CO2 dumps, all like this. Okay, interesting. Here we go. So my SPO went up a little bit. I was already at 98. It went up a little bit. So yeah, I got a little bit more oxygen in the system. But come on, I'm already 98% full. Here's the shocking one: 70% drop in my CO2. 70% drop in my CO2 from 30 seconds of huffing and puffing. Isn't that crazy? And let me explain what's going on and why that's a problem for us. But it just shows we can really disrupt our CO2 levels, which are not a waste gas. And it's quite hard to actually disrupt our oxygen levels because, again, we're so freaking efficient in that sense. So what? So you might have heard of Bohr or the Bohr effect. And again, I'm not going to try and bore you too much with this, little pun intended there. All you really need to know today is when our CO2 levels drop, it's harder for the oxygen to get to where it needs to get to. The oxygen is clinging on for dear life to the hemoglobin in the red blood cell. Just think about it, it's just grabbing on and it doesn't want to let go because the oxygen has evolved to let go in a higher level of CO2. And so if we've been breathing a bit too quick, a bit too fast, we've been mouth breathing, we've been shallow breathing, and we've disrupted our CO2 levels, then the oxygen cannot get to where it needs to get to. In fact, Patrick McEwen, who wrote The Oxygen Advantage, has a quote that says, when we breathe too much, we are literally starving our bodies of oxygen. So just take a moment to process that for a second, because you're thinking, well, hang on a second, what's going on? Because you've got loads of oxygen here. If you think of this hyperventilation, you're full of oxygen. So what the hell's going on with this? If we have got a low level of CO2, the oxygen's stuck. It can't get to where it needs to get to. Okay. I found this little paper, 3 minutes of hyperventilation. The hyperventilation and cerebral blood flow, which is the blood to the brain. They measured the blood flow to the brain. So they got participants to hyperventilate for 3 minutes and they reduced blood flow to their brain by 22%. So when you do a Wim Hof-esque kind of thing, which I love to do some of these big breathing techniques, and you get a little bit woozy and a little bit lightheaded and you get these nice feelings, we're actually taking blood flow away from our organs. Now, in a short controlled, hypoxic, intermittent hypoxic state where we're enjoying these kind of techniques, that's okay. If we're breathing through our mouth, breathing too fast, if our respiratory rate's a bit too quick when we're walking, climbing the stairs, getting out of a chair, on our bike, in the office, on the train, that's when it's a problem. Not when you're doing 3 rounds of a Hof breath or something like that. It's when we're over breathing day after day, week after week, decade after decade. I'm glad some of you like the Bohr effect there, the Bohr brain joke. I'm just reading the comments. So we can really disrupt our blood flow very, very quickly. And so just take this away. The slower we breathe, the more efficient we are. When we breathe slower, we have a normal amount of CO2. I put higher than the low amount of hyperventilating. But because the oxygen's in our lungs for longer, a bit like leaving a tea bag in the water, the stronger the tea is. And the more we leave our air in the lungs, the more time we have to absorb the oxygen, but also let that CO2 level just build up at a normal rate. So we just want to slow everything down. Now, again, this doesn't mean I can't practice the Hof breaths and conscious connected breathing, all these things. No. What we're doing here is we're trying to build our 23.5 hours a day of really, really good breathing. And the samurai knew this, the scientists know this now, and that's what we're doing here. So hopefully you're still with me on all this. Now, you're adaptable. And what I mean by that is if I ask you all right now to hold your breath and do walking on the spot, you're eventually going to have to breathe, and you're going to have to stop and count how many steps you did during that breath. And we say around 60 is good in the oxygen advantage, but generally a lot of people don't get to 60 at the start when I start to work with clients. And so this client here was at 33. So she held a breath, walked on the spot, couldn't hold a breath any longer, needed to breathe 33 steps. By the end of us working together, she'd gone up to 77 steps. Now, what's going on there? She has been breathing slower and gently and lighter, and she has helped her body adapt to slower breathing, which means her respiratory rate will be down, her carbon dioxide levels will be at a more normal rate, she's more efficient, she's getting more oxygen to every part of her body. And so we're really adaptable humans. We can go the other way. If we break our nose or have nasal surgery and we're breathing through the mouth for a couple of weeks, things can go the other way. So it's a constant practice, something we need to think about all the time. Now, this chap here, Emil Zatopek, he was, I think, runner of the world's greatest runner, I think he was put down as. I don't know if it's going to play add a little YouTube. Maybe it's not going to play. But he did a really interesting workout. I don't think it's going to let me. No. Okay. So he does a hypoventilation workout. So I'll just explain it to you what he does here. He would be on the running track. This is like, what's this, 1950s, 1960s? He would be running along, running. And then when he was ready to train, he would hold his breath and sprint like a crazy person as long as he could. Now, I don't know about you. If you've ever been on any sort of exercise bike and you try and hold your breath, you get to urgency pretty fast. And so he would do that to build up his tolerance to CO2. Now, this guy here, some of you may have, this is like a modern day example. This is Laird Hamilton. He's a big wave surfer. I've had him on the podcast. He's got his own breathing company called XPT. And he needs to be able to hold his breath because sometimes these waves can pull him underwater for a couple of minutes. So he's doing a very similar thing to Emil, but in his own way. He gets in the sauna, he puts on oven gloves and gets on one of these crazy bikes that has a fan that just absolutely exhausts you. And then when he's absolutely out of breath, he grabs a dumbbell and jumps in the water. And what he's doing is he's putting his body under an immense amount of stress, and then he's put himself in a position where he has to hold his breath for a long period of time. We're not doing that today, but it's just an example of how we are so malleable that if we start to do slow breathing, breath holds, we can start to absolutely change our physiology. We can change how long we can hold our breath. We can change our respiratory rate. We can change how our relationship is. So yeah, don't worry, Kevin, we're not going to be jumping in any pools there today, but just some wonderful examples of what these top athletes can do here to impact. And what can we learn from that? Well, as our good friend Arnie would say, we want to get in the gym, but we want to get in the breath gym. And so I want you to think with me today, a bit like when you're doing slow breathing, it's a bit like weightlifting for your breath. It's weightlifting for your nervous system. It's weightlifting for longevity. It's weightlifting for good mental health, because the slower we breathe, the calmer we breathe, the more relaxed we are, the more oxygenated we are. And we're also sending the right signals to the brain that we're safe. And if we start to hyperventilate, breathe too shallow, breathe too fast, then we're doing the opposite of that. We're starting to kind of give ourselves a little bit of stress there. So we want to slow everything down. And that's what we're doing here, our good friend Arnie would say. Okay, so hopefully I can bring all this home for you now. We want to keep our blood fizzy. So how does this make sense? So think about this carbonated water for a second, this fizzy water. And what happens when you shake a bottle of fizzy water? A bit of water gets out, but what really is escaping there is the CO2, right? The carbonated water, the carbon is leaving because we've shook the bottle. So think about shaking that bottle a bit like mouth breathing or breathing too fast. And if we breathe too fast or we mouth breathe, then we're losing a lot of CO2. So it's almost like we're shaking that bottle and letting all that fizz go out. So it's the same thing. So we want to keep the bottle fizzy, we want to keep our blood fizzy. So that hopefully brings it all the way home for us. We want to breathe slow and light and deep, and we want to make sure that we're getting oxygen to all the tissues and cells in our body. And the samurais knew this. They knew this all those hundreds of years ago. So let's breathe as a samurai together now. Let's let some people in. 293 of us in the room today. I'm so honoured by that. That's beautiful. So keep putting your questions and comments in there. I'll see if I can get to a few of them in a bit. I'm going to just play some music now, and we're going to do a little bit of feather breathing together. So, can everyone hear the music? No? Let me go 2 seconds. Share. What's that? Okay. So, you might have done this with me before or with somebody else. And there's 2 ways to do this. We are either going to place our finger under our nose like this, if you can see me. Just pay attention to the breath for a second like that. The other way to do it is you take the palm of your hand and you place it like this. And I like it this way because I can really feel the air hitting my hand. And so don't change anything yet. All I want you to do is just start to notice what that breath feels like on your hand. So whether it's under your nose or on your palm, we're bringing our breath to life a little bit here, because we can sense it through our nose, we can sense it in our belly. It's not very often we get to feel the breath, the actual air. And if you'd like to, just take a couple of harder breaths. Just get a feel of what does my breath feel like if I really blow quite hard on my hand. You can probably notice, it can actually make your breathing quite loud as well when you do this. Okay. So eyes open or closed, just paying attention against the breath. And start to imagine that your hand or your finger is a feather. But for now, I want you to deliberately move it. I don't want you to try and not move it because we're going to build up to that. So just breathe in normally. Just breathe really normally on that feather. And this is where the breath awareness kicks back in again now. So just notice your breath. Just notice what it feels like on the hand. Notice where your breath's coming from. Is it coming from your chest or your belly or a bit of both? Just breathe as normal and how your body wants to breathe on that finger or hand. So you can just almost in your imagination, your mind's eye, picture that feather just fluttering. Maybe for some of you it's fluttering quite a lot, and for some of you not so much. Just taking your time. Turn the music down a little bit. There we go. Thank you, my yoga body, Scott. Let's turn the music down a little. So what we're going to do now is let's just start to slow it down. Now, if you're dead competitive like me, you're going to try and go as slow and as low as you can. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to take your time. So just, if you can, just go a little bit lighter. Can you stop that feather from wiggling just as much? Maybe it can go a little bit softer. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes, so get nice and comfy. And so what we're doing here is we're slowly starting to just etch up our CO2 levels, and we're full of oxygen. And if in fact, if you put on a pulse oximeter on your finger right now, or you checked your iWatch, you would really struggle to bring your oxygen levels down with light breathing because we're so efficient. But what we are doing here is just notching up our CO2 slightly. And in doing so, we're giving so much more oxygen to your body, to all of your organs, all of your cells. Think of it again, we're in the gym. Now, when we're in the gym with Arnie, we don't want to go and pick up the same weight he's picking up. We don't want to go and pick up 100 kilograms because we're going to get injured. And it's the same with feather breathing or Buteyko or oxygen advantage or slow breathing. We don't want to go as slow as we can because it can actually be a little bit stressful. So we're just slowly calming down. And so I like to picture a car stereo with the little volume knob. And so if you just slowly, lightly turn the volume down slightly, can you make your breathing a little lighter, a little softer? Again, the goal here is not to stop moving the feather. It's just, can we make it move a little bit less? So we're not breathing slow, we're just breathing slower. We're not breathing light, we're breathing lighter. Because we're all on our own journey. Now, if at any point this gets a little bit too intense, we're just playing today, so just go back to regular breathing, take a few minutes or a few seconds, a couple of nice big regular breaths, and then have another go at it. And if you're sitting here going, I don't know what he's talking about, this is so easy, I could do this all day, then what I want you to do is just slow it down ever so slightly more. Slowly, softly, gently. Once again, let's get that volume on the car stereo and let's just turn it down again, ever so slightly. So could you breathe a little bit lighter, a little bit softer, a little bit slower? Can we reduce the movement of that feather a little bit more? And if it's your first time doing this, just go really gentle with yourself. Don't be frustrated, just know that these techniques, like everything in life, take practice, and we're all doing it slightly differently. And just take a moment just to appreciate what the air feels like on your finger right now. Just remember what it felt like at the start when we breathed a bit heavy on purpose. Just remember what it felt like when we were breathing normally on it. And now just notice what it feels like right now. How does it feel? Does it feel a little bit softer? Softly, gently, slowly in, and softly, gently letting go. You're doing great. Even just a couple of minutes of this can be really, really beneficial for our health. Now, the reason we don't go too slow is because it can be quite uncomfortable if we go really slow, really quickly. I want you to have a great time. So today, we're not trying to break any records. We're not trying to beat Tom Zetas and do a 10-minute breath hold. I just want you to find the sweet spot where it feels good. Find the rhythm and the pace that feels good for you. And if that means going a little bit faster, then just do that. But by just paying attention to the flow on the finger, it just gives you a little bit to play with. Just do it for another moment or two. Again, everyone's got their own sweet spot. So if you're thinking this is too easy, then go a bit slower. And if you're thinking this is too hard, go a bit faster. Just find the point that feels really nice for you. If you go ahead and relax the jaw again, relax the shoulders, relax the muscles behind the eyes. Just stay with it. We're almost done, so just stay with it a little bit longer. If you can get to a point where you would love to take a deeper breath, but you're just choosing to delay that a little bit, that tends to be the soft spot, the sweet spot. Moving belly or chest, doesn't really matter if there's exercise. We can get into mechanics on another day. We're just playing with our tolerance to CO2 today. If you want to move the belly, you can do. We're just focusing on what we'd call the chemistry, the biochemistry of the breath. Gentle and slow. Breathe like a samurai warrior. Breathe because you are a warrior. Life is tough, and we need our breath. It's our foundation. And just breathing like this a couple of minutes a day can have incredible health benefits. You're all doing so good. Last minute, if you can breathe a little bit lighter, a little bit softer, please do so. If you're already done and it's too much, then just go back to regular breathing again. Last couple of breaths. Okay, to finish off, I love the physiological sigh, or as my friend Jesse Kumar calls it, sniff, sniff, poo. And so it's just a lovely way just to rebalance ourselves. And so it normally looks like this, about 60% in through the nose, then a sniff, and then a big long ah. So it looks a bit like this if you can see me. Just do a couple of those. I like to let everything go on the exhale. I want to let my shoulders go. I want to let my body come forward. I want to let my diaphragm come up. So we'll try a couple more together. So nice big sniff in, 60%. A sniff opens up the lungs a bit more. And then a relax the jaw, relax the shoulders, everything. One more. Big smile. Beautiful. Shake and wiggle fingers and toes. Give the head a little nod. Maybe you want to give the shoulders a little stretch forward, a little stretch back, a little stretch to the sides. Let's wake ourselves back up. That was great. I was watching you all, not in a creepy way, and it was lovely to see so many of you doing the different hand gestures. Yeah, it can be very, very relaxing. If you find this sweet spot where you don't push yourself too much too soon, super relaxing. If you want it as an energizer, go really slow. It's going to really switch you on. So this is the thing with this breathing technique. You can play a lot with it. It's a really wonderful technique. So let me go back to screen share, 2 ticks. Boom. Can you see the samurai again? Yeah. Okay. How did you find that? Pop that in the chat for me. What was that like for you? Was it hard? Was it easy? Just give me a couple of comments. Somebody nearly fell asleep 6 times, Joe. Yeah, probably nap time for you after this then, Joe. Loved, clear-headed now. Yeah, if we're increasing a bit of blood flow to that brain, it's going to work better. CO2 tolerance does build over time. We can build it really quick or we can build it really slow. And everybody's on their own journey. And there's ways to measure it. And they're on my website. I'm going to talk about those in a second as well. Found it relaxing. Yeah, some people tricky. Hey, this was really tricky for me at the start. When I was going through some oxygen advantage training a couple of years ago, I found this really, really hard. Really, really hard. Because I was used to huffing and puffing and I was anxious and stressed. And I'm always go. And to actually slow it down, it's tough. Deeply relaxing. Beautiful. I will read the rest of those later. Thank you so much. Keep putting those in the chat. Okay. So here's the quick fire tips for you. So if you take something away from this session, try and stay nasal. Practice this a few minutes a day. I've got recordings of this all over the place on YouTube. Here's the important one. Be kind and patient, because I used to get very frustrated that I wasn't moving as quickly as I wanted to. And I wasn't practicing every day either. But a bit like anything, yoga, martial arts, playing guitar, it is a practice. Breathwork is absolutely a practice. And we want to get to that point where we're not really thinking about it anymore. So just be kind and patient. And the last bit is, and I got this from one of my mentors, Paul Hughes. He said, you know what? People take breathwork way too seriously. I need my serious breathwork practice. And he just started laughing. And he said, just have fun with it. I was thinking about this, we're all going to die one day. Let's just have fun. We've got this wonderful gift that we can change what our lungs do. And by changing what our lungs do, it changes how we think and feel. And so why not just keep it light? Just have some levity with this. There's no point getting so bogged down. I need my Lululemon pants. I need to go and sit on the mountain, or I can do it at the bus stop, or I can do it at the park when my dog's chasing a poodle around the park. I can still do breath work there. So change your lungs, change your life. It really is that simple. And we've got all these gifts at hand. So how are we doing for time? Cool, 1:45. So I am so freaking excited to share this with you. So first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for breathing with me. This is something that I've been working on for such a long time, and I cannot wait to share this with you. And I feel like it's going to benefit so many people. And so let's just go through what I'm talking about here. I've been doing YouTube now for freaking 8 years. I don't know how that has happened. I feel like I'm a newbie to YouTube, but I went to see Wim Hof in 2016 and I put my videos on there. My first video, big video, was like how Wim Hof taught me to climb mountains in my pants. And from that video, we've grown to a channel now where we've got 215,000 followers as of yesterday, which is incredible. And we've had 30 million streams on the content. 30 million times someone's clicked and done a breathing exercise or something like that. So it's safe to say breath work is taking hold. And I've got the graphs, I've got all the data. I can see how popular it got, especially during the pandemic and all those different things. Things just went blah, 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 blah. And so I've been doing this for a while. I get all the lovely comments from people, but I haven't done a very good job, because really the reason I did these first breathing exercises was because I got back from Poland. I did the Wim Hof thing and I was in my bedroom. I was like, this is rubbish. I'm trying to do the same thing I just did with 60 people and it's not as good. I'm not having as much fun. It doesn't feel the same to me. And so I made some breathing exercises with sounds and some different things, and it got a bit better. But the whole goal was how can I spend time with other people and do breath work? Because when you breathe with other people, as I'm hoping you're feeling just now, it's so much better. This is so much better. If I just did this samurai breath by myself in the bedroom, it would not be the same as doing it with all of you. And so that got me thinking, how do we build on this? How do we build the community? And I spend my time doing coaching, and I've had truly incredible results with clients. I've had people turn around their sex lives, improve their sleep. I've had people that have eradicated their stress and anxiety. I've had people that have been able to finally deal with their irritable bowel syndrome, lower back pain. Incredible stories all the time. People with all these Whoop bands are telling me that they're in green and their HRVs have shot up, and all these different things. They're thinking clearer. And so it's wonderful. But if I want to have the impact I want to have on the world, I can't just keep doing this because it isn't going to work. And I want to be part of something with some other people. And so I got to go and spend time with 60 people in Poland, and that was incredible. I got to go off to America last year, and I did some conscious connected breathing in hot water, which was very safe and very careful. I got to spend time with the Oxygen Advantage people. Some of them are in this call tonight. And so all these lovely breathwork communities, every time I felt so energized and so good. And then whenever I would leave again, I just felt a little bit lonely and something was missing. And these Sunday sessions have been my favorite part of the week by far. I look forward to them every week. This is the fourth one we've done. We've got 271 people on this right now, which is just wonderful. And I get all these wonderful comments afterwards, people saying, thank you for putting these on. I had a really great time. People asking for the recordings, so they can back and rewatch them again. And it's truly, truly warmed my heart how much I've got these connections with people that have been watching the channel for ages as well, some of them, and I've never got to meet them until the last couple of weeks. And so I asked myself one question: how can I serve more people and be part of an awesome community? How can I serve more people and be part of an awesome community? And so that's why I finally get to unveil to you today, Take a Deeper Breath. So it's a breathwork community. So it's a place where we can be together and we can breathe and carry on doing what I've been doing these last few Sundays. So what is it? So it is a weekly live breathing class sessions, which will be recorded if you can't make them. And we're going to build. It's going to be at least once a week, and we're going to build from there as the community grows. We're bringing in monthly experts. So I'm already in conversations with many of my friends that have been on the podcast, and I'm asking them to come in and talk to us. So you're going to get people like Dr. Bliss of Ranich come in and do a whole month we're going to do on breath mechanics. And she's going to teach us. We're going to learn together. I'm going to guide you through the rest of the month. And each month we're going to do something different. So think of it almost like every month is a brand new breathing course that we go through. There's going to be live coaching and questions and answers with me and these experts. And we've got a really lovely forum where we can kind of ask questions, we can share things. It's really modern, it's really fresh. And again, I'm really excited. Here's the big one. There's no social media. It's not another dead Facebook community. It's not going to be an Instagram thing. It's nothing like that. We're using a brand new platform. Well, it's not brand new, but a brand new platform for us, which is very clean. There's no ads on it. There's no algorithms promoting all this rubbish that we see when we're trying to do things on the social medias. So who's this for? If you're looking to improve your health and well-being, if you're looking to reduce stress and anxiety, become calmer and more focused, and connect with your inner self and true emotions, then this is the community for you. And if you're looking to improve sleep and relax more. So if any of those things resonate for you, then keep listening. Why this community? It's going to be a structured approach to breath work. You know, breath work, what are there? 10,000 breathing techniques out there, every combination you can think of. One of the reasons clients come to me is they just don't know where to start. All the information's out there, but they're looking for a structured approach. How can I do this for me? We can ask the experts anything. So people are coming in, I'm going to be in there. Or the breathwork instructor is going to be in there. And so there's a lot of opportunities to get the answers to the questions that you've been trying to find that you haven't been able to. It's going to be an awesome group because it's just going to attract the right people and be part of something special. This is going to grow. This is day one. You are the first people I'm announcing this to. I announced this to the main YouTube group of 215,000 on Friday. So because you're on the priority list, because you signed up for this live session, you're getting it first. And I've got something, I want to take care of you. So I've got something very special just for you. So we've got monthly modalities. So we're going to do a mechanics month. We're going to do a Qigong month. We're going to do a Buteyko month. We're going to do conscious connected vibration-esque months. We're going to do coaching and Q&A. So there's going to be loads of stuff coming into this community. It's a really beautiful app. It's called School. It's very playful. It's clean. There's calendars in there. It's so easy to use. It works great on a PC as well, and I've filled it with content for us. So it's very, very clean. There's no Facebook ads, no Facebook dings. You're not going to get distracted by other things going on. Once you're in this app, it's a very, very clean environment, and it's very modern and fresh, and we can gamify things, so we can have leaderboards for different things as well. So we can have a lot of fun in here. Okay, so would you like to become an early member? So we are going live on YouTube the end of this week, Friday, and we're going to be talking to people. And once it's live, it's going to be a different price, and the general public get it. The reason you're getting this is because you are on the priority list, or you subscribed and you wanted to be part of the breathing sessions, and you're watching the replays now as well. So what do you get? Here's the big question. Okay, so what do early members get? I'm going to give you an MP3 breath bundle, which is on sale right now for $97. That's a load of breathing exercises you can download to your phone and keep forever. So when you're on a plane, you're on a train, you don't want Wi-Fi, you can use these breathing exercises to calm down, feel happier, feel more calm. They're yours to keep. It's not even live yet, but I've just finished a 7 essential breathing techniques program. That's yours. You get that straight away. That's built in. There's a breath mechanics masterclass taught by Bliss of Ranich. It is not on YouTube. It's a part of a masterclass I did last year. that's yours. There's also a functional breathing masterclass with Patrick McEwen, who wrote The Oxygen Advantage. Again, not on YouTube, that's just for you. There's a breathing guide ebook that you get straight away. Early access to exclusive podcasts. So as my podcasts are done, they go in there, you get to see them before everybody else. I've got this thing called Inner Pinch Breathwork. So it's a chunk of breathing exercises that are less than 10 minutes. So if you're looking to reduce stress, get to sleep, focus before meeting, you can go to this section straight away and you've got access to all of those, again, built into this price. And the big one, if you sign up with me now and become an early member, you'll get access to my functional breathing video course. This is on sale right now for $497. It's been sold over 100 times. You get access to it right now. It's in the program if you buy it as an early member. The cost is $97 per month for all of that. But as an early member, you get a discount. So you get all of that for just $67 a month. The link is that QR code there. You can scan that right now. You can go and get that straight away. And as I said, come this Friday when we go live, it's $97. So if you want to get this at an incredible price, get access to all that bundle, it's all there for you. Just a quick view of what's in there. So if you sign up now, everything's there ready to go. It's in a beautiful place. So you've got In the Pinch Breathwork, you've got the Breathing Essentials course, you've got the Functional Masterclass, everything's in there ready for you to go. So there's the QR code, and I will be in that community responding to your comments. Any questions you've got about breathing, you can just ask me, and or another breathwork instructor or will come back to you and give you that as well. Okay, so that's it. So come and say hi. I'll be in the community. There's the link there. I'll be waiting for you. Come and leave a post. Come and introduce yourself. Come and start playing with all of the wonderful techniques that are in there as well. We're going to be building this and building this. This is just the very start. This is the very start. There's going to be more live classes. We're going to be doing conscious connected breathing. We're going to bring in guests. It is going to be incredible. It's already amazing with the 100 people that are in there. So come and join us, and I will see you in there. Again, that's the QR link. You can scan that, and also below this video is the link as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the community soon. Cheers.